3 true stories, each one stranger than fiction, and every one documented. 1872, De Gracia spotted Mary Celeste drifting east of the Azores, under partial sail, moving as though an unseen navigator guided her. She had left New York on November 7th for Genoa carrying 1,701 barrels of alcohol, Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their daughter Sophia, and 7 experienced crewmen. The boarding sailors found a vessel untidy yet seaworthy. Cargo and personal belongings remained. Food and water could last months, but the only lifeboat had vanished and nobody answered their calls. The captain's last log entry was dated November 25th near Santa Maria Island, 9 days before discovery. Navigation instruments and ship. Below deck, 1 pump was disassembled and 3.5 feet of water moved through the hold. 9 alcohol barrels were found empty, yet there was no fire or explosion damage. After rough weather, a faulty pump made Briggs unsure how fast the ship was flooding, while leaking alcohol may have raised fears of a sudden blast. He may have ordered everyone into the yawl and kept it tied behind Mary Celeste, planning to return once danger passed. If the towline snapped, the empty ship would simply sail away. At Gibraltar, a suspicious salvage hearing examined piracy, mutiny, fraud, and even murder, convincing proof of violence. The strangest part is not that Mary Celeste survived. It is that 10 people chose a small boat over her deck, then disappeared forever, while the captain's final pages offered no answer. A forest exploded without a crater. On June 30th, 1908, a blazing object crossed Siberia and burst above the taiga before anything solid could strike the ground below. At 7:15 local time, Evenki witnesses saw a fireball trailing smoke and a flash brighter than the sun, while our lone pine turned amber as the campground kicked beneath them. The object probably measured only tens of meters across, yet fragmented roughly 10 kilometers high and drove a shockwave downward as the pine bent before an invisible wall below. That wall flattened forest across more than 2,000 square kilometers and laid trunks outward in a vast butterfly pattern while heat scorched the pine as distant instruments registered the blast. But near the center, Kulik later found trees still upright and stripped of branches like telegraph poles in a pattern consistent with shock arriving vertically over the pine rather than sideways. War, revolution, and impossible terrain delayed Leonid Kulik until 1927, when the blackened pine finally appeared through endless bog ahead. Kulik found no meteorite crater as he mapped fallen trunks across marshy ground and watched the stripped pine point upward toward an explosion that had vanished into the sky above. The missing crater was the clue, not the problem. Modern simulations show a stony asteroid could disintegrate in the atmosphere, releasing its energy above the pine rather than inside the ground. That is why Tunguska left no impact crater, only a forest-sized shadow of violence. The pine survived as a warning that the next cosmic blast may also happen overhead. On August 21, 1986, Lake Nyos in Cameroon looked perfectly still while an invisible danger waited beneath its dark surface in complete silence. For years, volcanic carbon dioxide seeped into the deepest water and dissolved under enormous pressure, accumulating unseen like gas trapped inside a sealed bottle beneath the crater lake over many years. That night, an unknown trigger lifted gas-rich water upward, pressure fell, and carbon dioxide erupted from solution at once. The way foam escapes, a bottle opened too quickly in seconds across the depths. The carbon dioxide formed a cold, heavy cloud that poured over the crater rim and followed low valleys, silently replacing breathable air across the ground without fire, ash, smoke, or warning. Homes lay directly in its path, doors moved, animals fell quiet, and lamps went dark as the colorless cloud crossed sleeping villages before anyone around them could understand what was happening. By morning, at least 1,700 people and thousands of animals had died, while some survivors awoke confused after collapsing without seeing, hearing, or smelling the threat in the darkness. Engineers installed degassing pipes that lift deep water and release carbon dioxide gradually, turning the hidden pressure into a controlled fountain above the surface. Lake Nyos is quieter now, but its calm surface carries a warning. The most dangerous disaster may be the one nobody can see, and safety depends on watching carefully below. Some mysteries end with an answer. Others leave only another page. Subscribe for the next file.